Hi everyone. How are we all doing? It's a nice, small, intimate group here this morning, isn't it? I suppose it's a little bit smaller than what we're used to, but I actually prefer events like this because it's a little bit closer. You get a chance to maybe mingle with people a little bit better, and get a chance maybe to come and speak to the speakers afterwards during lunch because they have a little bit more time in their hands. So if any of you do have any questions after the training, do come find me at lunch or in the afternoon, and hopefully I'll be able to clarify things that maybe have been a little bit confusing for you. So I am really excited actually to be here today because exactly this day 12 months ago was the last time I spoke, and that was in the Titanic Centre, which you were referring to. And I was heavily pregnant then, and I have another one on the way. So hopefully the next time I speak, I'll have my figure back and I'll be looking skinny and feeling fabulous. So anyway, I'm very excited to be here, and I'm going to talk to you about my top tips for social media. So some of you probably would have, I suppose, heard a lot of this before, but I suppose when we hear things over and over again, we obviously pick up different things. So I hope a lot of you do get something from it. So just to tell you briefly about my own story, I've been working alongside Forever Living for the last 4.5 years, maybe even a little bit longer now at this stage. And my background is in holistic therapies. So I have my own clinic in Limerick where I do reflexology, massage, all that sort of stuff, and I love that. But really, that's only after actually taking off in the last 1.5 to 2 years. So before that took off, I was looking for something because I was working 3 other jobs. I had very little money. I also didn't have a lot of time, and I didn't have any confidence whatsoever. So a friend of mine actually heard about Forever because it was health and nutrition. She said, maybe you should take a look. And if I'm perfectly honest, I said, probably not for me. It's going to be all about sales. I'm not going to be any good at something like that. But I rang a lady called Lizzie, who's now my sponsor, and she kindly went through the business with me, and I was very intrigued about the products because of my interest in health and wellness. So I did the C9, and like a lot of people, I suppose, you feel really good after doing that. So it was easy for me then to know that the products were really good. And I was happily and I suppose confidently able to recommend them to people then. So that's what happened. I started using the products. I liked the idea that I was able to get them at the wholesale price for myself, and the idea that I could help other people feel good and look good with the product as well. And then because of the success days and the training and some of the people that I got to mingle with, and I suppose with our own group and our own team, I got to get access to training, and my personal development grew. And then I got to see the other opportunity that Forever had in regards building a business and actually having an extra successful career on the side. So it was really just for me to have something small at the beginning, have that extra income, get the products at the wholesale price, but obviously it's been so much more than that. And like Kira said, it hasn't been easy all the time. There are ups and downs, and even in the last year since becoming a mom, I've had to really look at my own goals, which Niamh and James are going to talk about in a little while, and actually figure out really what's important to me now. So your goals are going to change all the time as you go through the business, but if you do have focus and you don't stop and you don't stand still, your business is going to continue to grow, and thankfully that's happened with me even since I've become a mom. So I'm going to talk to you about social media today, and I suppose we could actually probably spend a whole day talking about social media because there's so many different aspects to social media, but today I'm going to focus on Facebook and give you some top tips with regards how to use it in a professional way, and actually gain business from it and actually take advantage of the platforms that are there. So how many of you actually use Facebook? How many of you actually, I suppose, were exposed to the product or the business through Facebook? So quite a few of you. So, I know a lot of people in our group would have actually become a customer and then actually went on to become a Forever Business owner through Facebook. So it's huge. And it really is a fantastic platform to use if you get it right. And it's not the only tool. So, if you think about, for example, people that would be in the business for maybe 10, 15, 20 years, and I see Bernie there, you didn't have Facebook back then. So you would have had to use more traditional methods to build your business, like talking to people face to face, using the phone, business cards, flyers, and being out and about. So you still should really do all of that. But if you have your Facebook really well to complement all of that, and you do meet people out when you're speaking to people face to face, your Facebook can then be your business card, and you can connect with people, build relationships, and then those people will see what you're doing. You'll get to know them a little bit better, and obviously, hopefully down the line when the timing is right, you can actually show them the product or the business, and they may become a customer or a team member. So it's not the only way, but it is is one way, okay? So here is just some tips about why we should use social media. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see, if you look at the picture over on the corner there, there's over 1.5 billion people on Facebook. Now, this was actually a figure that's probably old. This was actually up there since last year, so it's probably more since then. And you can see there's 900 million plus people using WhatsApp, 400 million people using Instagram, so it's huge. And you know, when we start our forever journey, we often think, oh my God, who's going to buy the product? Or who's going to look at the business? And I only know my sister and my aunts and, you know, the people that I went to school with. And we limit our network because we think of the people initially that are around us. But when you get through your first steps to manager training, you write out your contact list, Facebook is then another tool to add people to your list and to continue adding people. Because if you only have a list of 100 names and maybe 200 contacts that you want to speak to about the product or the opportunity, you're going to run out of people to speak to quickly. So if you have, the idea that you can use your social media in an actual professional way to build your business, then it means you're never going to run out of people to speak to. So this just takes a minute there now to load all of these. So what I would do if I was you is to actually take a picture of this, and then you'll be able to see all the reasons why you should actually use Facebook, okay? So your Who Do You Know list, like I said, is one way for you to add people to your list, so you never run out of people to share the opportunity with. It gives you a chance to share your success stories. So how many of you often, like Gina, I know, had lots of pictures up, and I know Kira, obviously, from Eagle Manager, you would have been posting success stories up on your profiles. And again, that's another reason, another way for you to expose the business and the types of people that you're working with. So people can actually see that you're having fun, and it's not about being in an office job 9 to 5. You're actually out meeting people, having coffee, spending time at home, working by the fire, all that sort of stuff. So you're exposing the positive aspects of Forever and the lifestyle that you can actually achieve from having your own Forever business. So it gives the people, I suppose, the opportunity to see what Forever is all about. So if you think of social media, right, and you think of Facebook, it's not a selling site, okay? So I know, yes, we're in the business of promoting a product and promoting an opportunity, but you can do that in a wrong way and you can do it in a right way. And you don't want to be the person that's the annoying aloe vera person or the annoying Forever business owner who's asking everybody to join their team. You want to be somebody who's professional, who, gives the brand the exposure that it deserves. And you want to be the go-to person so that when people see the opportunity, they want to join you because they know that you're doing it in a professional way and a fun way, okay? So that's about, I suppose, one of the reasons why we want to get our social media right. So new friends, new connections. So an example of this would be yesterday, I decided to get the train up because if I drove, I would have just been too tired, but also the train was giving me 5 hours to actually do work on my own because I've got nothing done in the last week. I was away and the baby is a little bit unwell at the minute. So for me, I said, I'll get the train, I'll fly up, I'll get loads of work done. I was on the train from Dublin to Belfast, and there was 2 ladies sitting across from me, and I closed the laptop. I said, no, I'm closing this. I'm going to try and talk to these 2 lovely people. So I did. I got chatting to one of them. She's a GP, and the other lady is actually from Belfast, but she lives in Dublin, and she was talking, works in recruitment, fabulous girl. We got on great. We spoke about weddings, children, all sorts of stuff. Didn't really mention about Forever, just told them I was coming up to be a guest speaker and that I was working alongside a nutrition company called Forever, and neither of them heard about it. So before we left, we connected on Facebook. So Facebook for me is like a business card. So now I'm going to get to know those 2 lovely ladies a little bit better. If they become a customer down the line, great. If they decide to join the business, great. But if they don't, it doesn't matter. It's 2 new people that I've made a connection with that are going to see what my life is about, but also I'm going to be able to get a chance to get to know them a little bit better as well. Okay, so if my Facebook is not professional and it's a little bit, unattractive, then I'm probably going to have no chance to get them to actually look at the product and the business. Do you agree? So you have to try and treat Facebook like your actual business card, okay? It's also a fantastic way to interact on groups. So for example, if you think of Gina, obviously your dog is something that you're absolutely mad about. I'm the same. So you have to find out what you're passionate about. So is it animals? Is it photography? Is it golf? What else is there? Music, whatever it is that you are passionate about, you can actually find groups on Facebook which will represent those topics, okay? And you can then go in, use those groups, add value to the groups, and then make new friends and new connections. So for example, if somebody, what's your dog, a Bichon Frise? Oh, what is it? Oh, lovely. Okay. So if you find a group with that breed of dog and somebody is talking, for example, about skin conditions that they may have or that their coats might be, damaged at certain times throughout the year, you can go and add value and say, well, look, I use this or I use that, or I have found that this product is really good. So you're recommending rather than putting up a post and saying, buy my product or join my team. Does that make sense? So you're adding value to the group and you're actually making connections and making new friends. So that's one way to use groups. Another reason why we use Facebook and why I use Facebook is because it's a fantastic way to support your team. So all of you, I presume, are on a team page on Facebook. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have Facebook. We'd probably be using Skype every night of the week trying to connect with people. But because of the platform, we can do live videos, we can do webinars, we can post up all sorts of stuff. So Facebook really is a huge tool in terms of supporting your team as well. And really, I think we would be absolutely lost without that. So to build your brand, like I said, finding what you're passionate about and then sharing information about that. It's also a way for you to find events that are local to you. So you may be able to find maybe some charity events that are going on, some fashion shows, all that sort of stuff, networking events that you can attend as a business person or as maybe somebody who's going to have a little stand at one of your local events. So it's a great way to actually find things that are going on as well. So testimonials and referrals. So I suppose with regards to testimonials, if you have somebody in your team who's gotten a promotion and you post about that, that is a testimonial about the business. And if you have a customer who's using the product and they go into your product support group and they thank you for being their distributor and looking after them, they can refer people to you and add people, their own friends, to those product groups as well, which again is letting you reach an audience that you would have never probably got to reach before. So groups is a fantastic way for your customers and for your teams. What else do we have there? So you're raising the FLP brand. So this is something that I'm really passionate about because when I started my Forever journey 4.5 years ago, I suppose there was huge emphasis about the C9. Loads of people were using Facebook, but lots of people were doing it in a really bad way. And a lot of it was really cringy. So one thing that I was really passionate about from the beginning was trying to get people to use it in a really attractive, positive way, because all of us affect each other, okay? So what I post on my social media is actually affecting you and your business and all of the other people that are working and connected with Forever. Do you agree? Yeah? So what you post affects me, what I post affects you. So, try and just get your head around maybe just the 2 or 3 tips with regards how to use it in a professional way, and then you will find it much easier for people to actually be attracted to what it is that you do. So I suppose we have to remember that we're representing a company that's a $3 billion company, and sometimes we forget that when we're at home. We're around the kitchen table or sitting on the couch with the laptop, and we forget sometimes what we're representing, especially at the beginning, because you may not have qualified for the big trips and the checks and all of that. So sometimes it can feel like a small business, but it's huge. And it's a family-run business. So we've got to remember that we're representing a family, and what we're doing, I suppose, should respect that as much as possible. So we have the whole idea that it's good for credibility, like that with your business card. So I can put up a picture now today on my Facebook talking about the fact that I was a guest speaker, and I might have a picture of the mic. So the 2 ladies that I connected with yesterday on my train ride would probably see that because they knew that I was speaking today, and they said, I'm going to go onto your Facebook and check what you were doing. And likewise, one of them was actually coming up to a hen, and I said, I'm going to go on and see what the bloody hen was all about this weekend. So they're going to see, okay, this lady is actually serious and she must have a successful business. I'm going to, keep track of what she's at, and hopefully I'll be able to follow her journey wherever that may take her. So the business card idea. So you don't need to go and have really fancy business cards. Yes, it's great to have some in your wallet, but if you get your Facebook right and you get confident asking people to connect with you on your social media, that then is a free way to actually connect with people. So Crossline training and the boot camp, like Kira was saying, without the Facebook groups, we wouldn't have been able to work cross-line, and that in itself has been invaluable because our teams have learned from other teams and vice versa. So, you know, everybody gets inspired by different people within the business, so don't be afraid to work cross-line and actually to share your top tips with each other because it does have a massive knock-on effect on everybody. So, did you take a picture of that? Okay, so with regards your team on Facebook, okay, so what you need to think about, and this is just a simple way to look at your social media and how you can maybe figure out about what the hell should I be posting. So does anybody like wonder what should they be posting about? I know Finola, you know, in my group, a lot of the time it's, geez, I don't know how to use social media. I'm afraid I'm going to put up something wrong. You know, is this compliant? Is it a bit too much? If you overthink it, you're not going to do it, okay? But if you just know the basics on how to use it, then you're going to get a little bit more confident and you're going to use it that little bit more. So the one thing I would say to you is to figure out what your tribe and your vibe is all about, okay? So what is it that you're passionate about? So we know Gina loves her dog. She's into health and nutrition and fitness. For me, my family is a big thing for me. Obviously, you know, becoming a mom, it's huge. I love animals as well. I love fitness too. So anything got to do with health and wellness, my family and animals is stuff that I will tend to fall in under. So you will never see me posting anything about politics or religion. You never see me sharing anything got to do with violence. So you know the way there's horrible videos going around on Facebook, I will never interact, share, or comment on any of that stuff because that's not what I feel is right that should be on Facebook, but I also don't want to be connected with that. So you should ask yourself, what is it that you're passionate about? Is it music? Is it singing? Is it art? Whatever it is. Because when you actually align with your own values, you're being authentic to yourself, and that comes across energetically to people. Even if the image you're using isn't 100%, but you're really being you, people are attracted to that, and they know that. And they get inspired by that. So don't try and be like other people. Try and just be you and figure out what it is that you're actually passionate about and what is important to you. And then, I suppose, use those themes and portray those in a nice way on your Facebook. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make is that you have to figure out what you're interested in and what you're passionate about and use your social media then to actually go through that. So when we talk about Facebook, and some of the mistakes that people make. It is easy to make mistakes, and you're going to make them. I still make mistakes. I remember when I started with Forever, I was so excited that I was posting up stuff all the time about the products, about the C9, and I know for a fact I annoyed people. But it was just pure excitement. But also, I suppose the training back then with regards to social media, we wouldn't have had access to it because it was just so new and everybody was just running on the whole social media excitement. So I know for a fact people unfriended me, and I know people thought, oh, Jesus, here she's off again, you know, with the aloe vera, la la la. But now those people know I'm still doing the business and I'm working with Forever and I've qualified for fantastic things, so they respect it now. Even though they might have dismissed it and thought it was a laugh and a joke at the beginning, they now realize, okay, well, she's stuck with it. So the longevity that you will give to Forever and the credibility that you get from doing that does stick to you. And you will be the go-to person for it. And a conversation I just had with Finola is that so many people, you know, love our products. And I know we've spoke about this a lot as well, Niamh, especially over the summer, that so many people have been to some of the events that we've been to over the summer, and they've actually, their Forever business owner is no longer using the product, or is not ordering every month. So they've lost out on their distributor. So there's people looking for the products all the time. So if you are the go-to person in Limerick or Dublin or Galway or Cork or one of the people, then people will use you as their distributor because they know they're going to get the right customer care. They know they'll have their product within a few days. They know that they can ring you when they need it, whereas other people may only order every second month. So, you know, you have to, again, use the idea that if you're exposing yourself, you're going to put yourself in front of people and they'll be happy then to use you as their supplier for the product. So let's talk about some mistakes that people make on Facebook. So this is a very easy mistake, and again, I would have done this as well. If, for example, you have some of your team here today, or you yourself are going across the stage, and you mention, today I got on stage for achieving 4 CCs, or today one of my team med supervisors, so proud. Yes, definitely post about those things, but don't use the forever jargon like case credits or supervisor or manager, because people don't know what that is. So you know and I know, which is great, but if somebody else is reading it, it's going to make no difference to them. Do you know what I mean? So you have to remember that in a way you're kind of speaking to people that are not within the forever world. So they don't understand what Global Rally is, they don't understand what Chairman's is, they don't understand what CC is. So instead you should post up something, say, congratulations, or I'm so proud of my team member Kira, she got a promotion today, she's worked really hard for the last 8 weeks and now she's given herself a pay rise. And that makes perfect sense. And that is going to appeal to people so much more than mentioning the forever language as such. Okay, so compliance is another thing. That's a whole other training in itself. So if you are somebody who's a little bit anxious with regards to compliance and product posts, just go and check out the compliant training and just get familiar with some of the do's and the don'ts of that. But to be honest, I think everybody is really, really good with compliance at the minute. It's very rare when, you see some things that shouldn't be up there, or people making medical claims. But if you are somebody that's a little bit anxious about that, just go and check out the training, because there's some fantastic stuff on that. So another thing which people maybe aren't aware of, especially if somebody's brand new, is that we shouldn't, and we're actually not allowed to use any of the buy and sell groups. So any third-party site, like a buy and sell group or a done deal group, or a local selling page within your community, we're not actually allowed to use those pages. And to be honest, you need to ask yourself, do you want to be associated with those groups anyway? Because I don't. I don't want Forever and the brand and the product to be represented in a buy and sell group, because stuff that's in a buy and sell group is being sold at a discounted price. It's stuff that somebody no longer wants. Okay? Whereas you need to remember that the products are amazing products, and your customers aren't necessarily in a buy and sell group. People that are in those groups are looking for discounts, they're looking for cheap products. And yes, we all use them from time to time if you're doing up the house or whatever, but you don't want to be associated with that in terms of being a business person and being in the buy and sell group. So make sure you don't use any of those. What else do we have there? Oh, sharing other people's stuff. Okay, so if I put up a video today, or a picture that we're here at Success Day, fantastic day, la la la, and you share that on your Facebook, you are actually advertising me and my business. Okay, so it's fantastic for me, but it's not so good for you, because your friends are then going to see my stuff, and if they know what you're doing and that you're in Forever, but you've never asked them, they may think that they can't do it with you, so they might ask me if they can do it with me, and you then have advertised me. Does that make sense? So people really need to understand this, because it happens all the time, because people like my stuff all the time. They share my stuff, Neve and James as well. And yes, of course, you want to interact with your team, but just be careful about the stuff that you're commenting on and the stuff that you're liking and sharing if it's connected to another person that's in Forever. Okay, so I'm not saying, don't be interacting and all that. You just need to be smart with your business. And remember that what you like and what you share on Facebook or comment on, your friends actually get to see that as well. Okay, so be mindful that you may actually be exposing and advertising somebody else, even though you think, oh, I've shared it on my own page, it's fine, that person will get in touch with me if they like it. They actually might not. So just be careful of that as well. So what else? Yeah, oh yeah, so there we go, same thing. So another tip, just a basic tip, if you're using images and you don't crop them, again, that can be very off-putting with people, and people will know you've just screenshotted something, you've grabbed it off Google, and again, you're just throwing it up on your Facebook just to throw something up. Instead, try and take your own pictures. So try and be original, because nobody else is going to have that picture. And it doesn't have to be a professional one. Hold your bottle of gel, or hold the toothpaste, or get the baby to sit there with the toothpaste. Nobody else is going to be having access to those pictures. And those are the ones that people are going to see, because they will think, oh, look at the baby holding the tooth gel, or what's Amy holding in her hand? And then you can talk about the product, why you use it, for example, and ask people then to get in touch. Does that make sense? If you saw that on somebody's page, if you saw somebody just screenshotting a bottle of the aloe vera, or you saw somebody holding it or drinking the shot, which one would you prefer to see? Which one would be more, I suppose, curious for you to look at? It would be this one for sure. Okay, so one of the things which I think is not a good idea for people, if for example, you are hoping to build a team, or you're in the business a while and you are building a team, and you may have your shop link on your Facebook profile, I don't think this is a good idea, and the reason being is because if I was asked to look at the business, and for example, Niamh, for example, asked me to look at the business, and I went on, I'm going to 100% look through her Facebook and see what she's doing, because face it, we're all nosy, we want to see who's who and what they do, and are they married, do they have kids, all that sort of stuff. And if I see that the first thing I see on her profile is that there's a link to a retail shop, I'm going to click on that and I'm going to think, oh God, okay, this lady is just all about selling, selling, selling. And that's not what it's about, but that's going to be my first impression. Does anyone else think they'd be like that? Yeah, okay, so that's the way I would feel. So if you are hoping to build a team or expand your network and you want people to see the real Forever and see really what Forever is about with the opportunity and the amazing products, and not get the wrong impression by just looking at a shop link, then you don't want to have it displayed on your page or your profile. Okay? Instead, you can talk to people, connect with people, and send it to them privately. Then it's a fantastic tool. But using it straight away on your profile can, I think, just give off the wrong message about what the amazing opportunity is, and I suppose what other people can gain from it as well. So your image on Facebook, your actual profile image, as much as we love the dogs, Gina, we shouldn't have them up there. So it should be used. So your picture should be up there, a nice kind of clean, I suppose, professional looking image. You can take it yourself, you can take a selfie, whatever it is, just as long as it's you and it looks, I suppose, to some degree well. I wouldn't have any products up there, and I wouldn't have any, for example, any dogs, anything like that. It really should be you, because your Facebook should be your business card and you should be on your business card. Okay, so that's just one tip which I think some people, and again, it's just a general mistake which people can make because it's just not thinking about the exposure that their social media is getting. So having the picture of yourself up there is a good idea. So the salesy post, no one likes being sold to. So I try to use my Facebook in such a way that I'm exposing the product and exposing me and the brand rather than always putting up a sales post. So you will very rarely see me put up a picture of the product on my profile. And if I do, normally, like for example, with the Move, I did a live video on my profile to let people know about the Move and what it does. And the interaction I got on that was amazing. But I would have never have done one of those before, but I felt the need to do it with that because it was a new product. And obviously the results that we're getting are amazing. So just be mindful of how many times you post about product, and is it on your profile all the time? Or if it's possible, could you have maybe a customer support group and use that to post about your products more often, and maybe keep your profile a little bit more with regards to your lifestyle, and maybe funnel the people into your customer support group then to see the products that little bit more. So we always like to think that Facebook should be about 80% lifestyle and 20% business. So that 20% business could be a little bit of product, a little bit of testimonials about the business and I suppose supporting your team, and then obviously about the lifestyle and what it is that you love about Forever. Okay, so try to do the 80-20 rule, because if you're going to use Facebook for Forever all the time, it's going to be a little bit frustrating for people to see. So the call to action button, this is just a tip. If you are posting up something about Success Day today, and if you actually mention the word Success Day, again, people aren't really going to know what Success Day is. So instead you should say, had a fantastic day in Belfast with 200 to 300 of some of our team, because technically we're actually all connected. So you can say 200 to 300 of the team. Really inspiring, got loads of information, cannot wait for the next one. In November. I'd love to bring 1 or 2 guests with me. If you'd like to come, give me a buzz. So that can be your call to action. So you're not just posting up and then not actually giving people a call to action. So at the end of it, you can say, give me a buzz or pop me a message. Or if you'd like to come to the next one, you know, just give me a shout. So that's what a call to action is. So it's just it's opening up the chances for people to actually get in touch with you. Okay, so this is one thing which I think nobody should be doing, sharing anything like the chain messages, the violence, any type of political, religious views, because they can obviously, you know, upset some people, and you don't want to be connected to any of that, especially if you're using your social media for your business and for your professional, I suppose, exposure. Okay, top tip that I have with regards your tagging settings. So say, for example, you go out tonight, or you were out last night, and you've a few too many drinks, and some of your friends may take some pictures that you don't want a lot of people seeing, or they may take a video of you acting the maggot on the dance floor, and you're thinking, oh my God, it's up on my Facebook. My friends, some of the friends that I'm connected with regards forever may see it, or the people that I'm speaking to about the business. So what you can do is actually change the settings in the tagging so that you have to approve them before they show up on your page. So if somebody tags me in a post, I actually have to approve it so that it will only show up on my newsfeed if I want it to show up. Okay? And even some of the stuff, like say for example, I might be tagged in 2 or 3 things today. I don't want all of them going up on my newsfeed on my profile because there'll be too much stuff at once. So it might not necessarily be that it's a negative thing, but it's just if you have a big event on and you're tagged in loads of photos, you may want to just do them, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, for example, rather than having 5 or 10 things show up on your page at once. Did everybody know about that? Because a lot of people don't, yeah, so that's good. If you've learned that, that's fantastic. So here's my profile, just to give you an idea. Okay, so if you look at the intro and the about section, you don't see any link to Forever, do you? Or products? So really, if you look at my profile, you don't probably actually know what I do. And this is not because I'm ashamed of Forever. That's absolutely not the case. I am delighted to be working with Forever. I'm so proud of it. But I want people to join me for what I do and for who I am, not because they see a bottle of aloe vera gel. Does that make sense? Okay? And if I'm connecting with new people and I'm using my social media as my business card, I want people to be curious about what I do and actually ask questions to find out more, rather than them getting the wrong impression about what it is that we do, because sometimes people do that, and it's unfair on them because they actually dismiss the opportunity before they get to see the bigger picture. So this is an example of how you can do the same. So have a nice cover picture and a nice profile picture, and in your intro you can say that you are self-employed, or that you work, for example, at Amy O'Mara Global or whatever it is, so you can link it to a business page if you decide to create one of them down the line. Okay? So does that make sense? So you just want to kind of keep it, I suppose, related to you and your business, rather than linking it to products and shop links and all that sort of stuff. So the 80-20 rule. So you and your life is what your profile should be about, because that's what social media is about. It's about sharing stories. And that's what people are interested in. And a lot of people actually don't like Facebook at the minute because there's so much crap on it. So if you can be one of the people that are positive and inspiring and posting up stuff that's actually interesting, then people will be more inclined to like and interact on your stuff. And the more comments and likes that you get on your posts, those people will actually see your stuff more often. So if you put up something funny, or put up something a little bit, maybe personal to you and your family, and you get a lot of likes and comments on it, that's going to increase your exposure to your friends down the line as well. So if you can get 50 or 60 or 100 likes, for example, on a video that you may do, and if you're open to doing live videos, by the way, you should give them a go. I know it can be a little bit nervous, but people watch them because they're so nosy. And people will, if they go in and they watch it, again, you're going to pop up on their newsfeed that little bit more often. So you're going to inspire people by doing that. You're going to share some success stories. I suppose share your life. So these are the types of things that you can actually use your social media for. Instead of thinking, oh my God, what am I going to post about? Nobody's interested in what I'm doing. Nobody wants to see, what my lifestyle is like. Try not to think like that, because I do sometimes. I'm like, why would I bother putting up a selfie? Or, am I being a little bit cocky by putting up this? But don't be like that. If somebody's going to be negative towards you and, not approve of what you're posting up, then you don't want them in your group anyway. You don't want them to be working with you. But there's people out there who will be the same as you, who get inspired by positivity, who like, nice things and be at home with their kids or spend some time with their dog or whatever. Those are the people that will be attracted to you. So don't try and please everybody. Just be you, and the people that are going to be like you will be attracted to you naturally, okay? And even if you get your Facebook on point and you do everything bang on, it still doesn't mean everybody's going to buy a product or everyone's going to join the business, okay? But what it will do is it will just give you that little bit more credibility, and when the timing is right for people, they will feel comfortable and they'll actually want to be a part of your group. So I'm nearly finished now. This is kind of just going over some of the stuff I spoke about already. So maybe you could take a picture of that, because it's just giving you some tips about how you can actually post stuff up on your page. So, okay. So here's Natalie. I mean, like you said, if you were stretched and bleached, it would be fantastic. But like, I know this picture was professionally taken, but it's very simple and it's very basic. It's with her and her family, and she's smiling. So why can't you take a picture of you and your family and you smile as well? You know, it doesn't have to be a professional portrait taken. If you just, know maybe the types of images that other people use and just go and do your own version of it, then happy days. Your profile will look fantastic as well. So again, if you look at the intro, can you see anything about product? Or no shop links? No, it doesn't link to Forever Living as such. So when you come onto Natalie's profile, you know Natalie works for herself. And isn't that one of the main benefits why we all love Forever? That we can work for ourselves, choose our own hours, decide how much work we want to do, how much time we take off, for example. So you want other people to see that that's what you do. You don't work for Forever, you actually work for yourself. Okay, so if you can expose that on your profile, then people again are going to be that little bit more curious to find out how the hell do I get involved as well, and how can I do those things that Amy or Natalie or whoever else is doing. So again, just an example so you can see. So here's some pictures which I would use in my social media. So all of those, bar two of them, I would have taken myself. Okay, so these types of pictures are going to be much more appealing to people rather than going to Google Images and just grabbing something. Okay, so don't be afraid to be, using your imagination and taking your own pictures, because it's going to obviously be that little bit more attractive, like I said. Okay, so those are some pictures. These are some pictures that I would post when I was, I suppose, in a way, trying to expose the business rather than the product. So having fun, drinking pints of Heineken. I think that was in Singapore. So again, doing some team training, having a bit of fun, doing Success Day last year, and doing a recruitment post. So those pictures, again, people are going to think, okay, that's interesting, what's she doing? You can't necessarily see much about the product or anything other than Amy and the team and the group and the fun and, I suppose the travel and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so those are the types of things that you could be posting as well. So, last slide. You can be the juiciest or the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches. Okay? How true is that? So the point I'm trying to make with this slide is that even if you get everything really, really good on Facebook, there's still going to be people that don't want to do what you're doing. There's still going to be people who will not want to use the product, and that is fine. You're not trying to get everybody to use the product, and you're not trying to get everybody to do the business, but if you're consistent with your activity and you speak to people on a daily basis about the product and about the business, and you have your social media to back that up and give you that credibility, then your chances of converting those people to a potential customer to actually a customer or a team member is going to be much, much higher. So I hope that you've learned something from today. I've gone over a little bit on my time, but everybody has, so I don't feel that guilty. And if you do have any questions, do come up to me at lunch, and hopefully I'll be able to clarify them for you. Thanks, guys.